meeting. Consider a motion to adjourn the executive session. Trustee Sullivan, second. Deputy Mayor Cassell, all in favor? Unanimous. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes. I would like to quote Mr. Albert Einstein tonight with a quote that I adore. It is called insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. As we move forward with a lot of our efforts, projects to improve our village, I pray for understanding and unification of our community and residents. I pray for respect and compassion towards one another as we work together for the best result of the issues, challenges that they may arise during this process. Amen.
Okay, we had a presentation by the Friends of the Dobbs Ferry Library, but they were not able to make it at the last minute, and we will reschedule that Clerk Draper to a future meeting, to the next meeting, or the one in, first one in July. We do have a public hearing. I'd like to take a motion to consider a referral from the Planning Board for site plan approval for Children's Village to construct a 2,686 square foot storage structure on their property. Any discussion?
So you want to take a motion to open a public hearing?
Yes. Trustee Cassell, second. Trustee Mazzillo, all in favor?
I believe the applicant is here, Mr. Mayor,
Would you
or
like
a
to say-
representative of the applicant.
Could you state your name again? Dennis? Okay.
Is the mic on?
It's on green.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
Thanks, Dennis.
We had gone through planning board approval, to put a small storage facility in there under 3,000 square feet. It's a very nondescript building, it's a utility type building. We're not near, any of the setback requirements required by zoning, or the floor area ratio, or over the lot coverage. It's sort of a standalone building, near a maintenance yard. And they just want to use it to store archives and files.
That's just gonna have electric in it, right? Yeah. Okay, does anybody have any other questions?
Well, I think the AHRB and I don't know if the planning board went to check out the
Yeah, the
site.
planning board
to
did
see,
go, yeah.
and
Yeah.
as far as I know, there were no issues.
No.
Right?
Yeah, there was a question about people were considering whether you could see it from Judson Avenue. The planning board set a joint site visit on a Saturday morning, I believe it was, and to see if there were any vantage points where you could see from Judson. I think the ultimate conclusion was they did not. Planning board made a recommendation on this. I don't know, did you get ARB approval yet? Or are you still there? Okay.
I'm pretty sure they
We
did.
did.
But, yeah, since you need a site plan would be approved by you, is a resolution prepared to grant site plan approval? And it's public hearing, I don't know if there's any public hearing.
I don't think there
Is
is.
there anybody here who wants to speak on this?
Anybody wanna make a comment on this? No? So I guess we have a motion to close the public hearing. Deputy Mayor Cassell, second. Deputy, Trustee Durante, all in favor? Unanimous. Next.
So then we can
We
have
have to make the motion.
resolution approving, resolution of the Board of Trustees, I'll read it for you, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor. The Village of Dobbs Ferry granted site plan approval for the construction of a maintenance building together with related site work and Children's Village 1 Echo Lane as set forth in the submitted items. That would be the motion.
Okay. I have a motion to approve. Deputy Mayor Cassell, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, we have a public hearing to consider a referral from the planning board for site plan approval for 401 Ashford Avenue to convert the use from two-family to three-family with site plan changes and internal renovation. So I need a motion. Deputy Mayor Cassell, second. Trustee Rosillo, all in favor? Unanimous? Does anybody, Niall?
I'm just here to represent it. I'm the architect for the owners,
Okay.
and, please.
Your moral support, I guess.
You've been at a few meetings recently.
Norman Shannon, South, also the owners. You've seen this project, it's visited the planning board here.
Yeah.
Do you want me to show any of it again? Any reasons to?
No, there's no additional footprint, right, in the building? It's just the interior and
It's
exterior
just
renovations?
interior, and we're enlarging the back deck a little bit.
Okay.
So it's.
See, it's ready to go.
Everything's contained within the current.
It's really
structure.
site work, and I think.
And you have the appropriate amount of parking spaces for the additional
Right,
units.
exactly, we went through all the parking, and we vetted that with the planning board, and then there were some comments that the consulting engineer had, that we responded to.
There's a recreation fee on this.
Mhm.
I think we're all good, I mean.
For the addition to the unit, yeah.
Be reminded of the look, or anything I could show you, but.
So whatever the recommendations were of was the village engineer, or you're going to meet those recommendations?
We responded to every comment they had.
Yeah, that's standard, trustee Rosillo, there'll be certain requirements from the village engineer, the building permit will require it too, and while it's happening, Ed and George will inspect and make sure that those are met. That's the theory behind it, and how it'll work itself out.
The reality.
Theory behind then how it happens. Hopefully it happens.
No, we've already responded to everything, so we'll submit now that, presumably we have approval, we'll submit the final drawings to the building department.
Yeah, I know the planning board is very positive about this because it was renovating a building that's in pretty bad shape to,
Yeah, it was horrible.
yeah, to bring it. And especially it's right near the entrance of the village too.
Great, thanks now. Does anybody else want to make a comment? Okay. So I need a motion to close the public hearing. Trustee Cassell, second trustee Durante, all in favor? Unanimous? And now to approve the resolution, you want to read it?
I can do that. The resolution of the Board of Trustees granting site plan approval for the renovation of an existing building to accommodate an additional dwelling unit to an existing two-family house together with related site work at 401 Ashford Avenue, and as set forth in the attached resolution.
So do I have a motion to approve? Trustee Durante, second trustee Rosillo, all in favor? Unanimous? Thanks, John.
Thank you so much, appreciate it.
Okay.
I live in town too, by the way.
Okay, we have a public hearing to consider an amendment to the Dobbs Ferry Village Code to change the regulations related to street openings as provided in Chapter 264, Article 2, Sections 264-7 through 264-12. Charlene, did you want to comment on what this means? It's basically...
Sure, as to the general provisions of it.
Pretty much.
So I need to, motion to open the public hearing. Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Durante, all in favor? Unanimous? Would anybody like to make a comment?
Well, Charlene has back.
Oh,
Sorry. This is really to sort of get our permit requirements for street openings very much in conjunction with the other surrounding villages. One thing that we tried to do, just doing it as a policy and putting on the permit, is getting curb to curb if 50% or more of the road is disturbed. And they wouldn't do it unless it's law. So we're putting it into law, and now we're going to require it.
We also are requiring certain materials be used. Our code is fairly old and did not really specify those materials. We are requiring notification of police or DPW when it is an emergency. You know, we can't stop them from doing anything in an emergency.
Right.
And we also state what's not an emergency and regular maintenance and just, you know, looking into things. We also require not only insurance, but a deposit from the major utilities, so that if they don't perform the work properly, we can do it. Those are the major aspects of the law.
Discussion.
Let's see if anybody has any.
Anybody have a comment? Bob?
It's exactly what are you doing with the permits? You're talking about kind of water company and everything?
Yes.
There's 22 municipalities in Westchester, I believe. And each one of them has a different amount to pave, repave, and do over. I know a little bit about it. I worked for Con Ed for 39 years, and I used to have to run and inspect these things. Is there some way maybe you can get involved with the rest of the municipalities and sort of
That's,
try and get something
You
together
do
where
have
they're
a,
all equal?
Yeah, it's a good point. We do have the new county executive, George Latimer, has called together a shared services task force with all of the villages and towns involved, which we, Charlene and I have been attending.
Mayor, that's exactly why we're changing it also. This is much more in conjunction with the other surrounding municipalities.
They're all different. If you want
I-
to get
thi-
specs on every one, and every municipality I go to, I gotta read spec. This one goes for this one goes for this.
I think Charlene, me and Charlene were working on this, and we did get this from a draft at least, with
Right,
very
we
similar
looked
language
at a
from.
number of municipalities so that we would make it in conformance with them.
That'd be great. They'll all be the same.
They're not all the same because we don't control anybody but ourselves, but now we have a couple within the Rivertowns that are the same.
Only makes sense.
And I know other municipalities are looking at this, and there you could use ours as a guide.
As we use someone else's.
Yeah, no, that's why it's funny in the old, I know, some of the old laws, I was looking through some of the old ones, and a lot of the old ones are very simple, like the same language as our old one. It's funny. Someone wrote it and every municipality copied it.
That's how we get things done.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is trying to make it uniform throughout, as uniform as you can.
That's a good idea.
Great. Anyone else? Okay, so, motion to close.
Yeah, there was a little bit of tweaking of the code, just, you see a lot of numbers there. Our old code was 264:7 to 12. We had to delete that because there were a lot of code provisions here. We created a new chapter, chapter 265, 1 through 9. Then we added the sidewalk cafe to 264 and deleted some other stuff, so it's a little complicated, but, we looked at it carefully and it'll read better now.
Great. Thank you. Charlene, thank you. Any other comments?
Just one other thing, when you have deposit required, was that always in the statute, that amount of money, or we just put that?
No, that wasn't, and that is in accordance with Audits, actually.
Okay. So I guess every so often we should look at that, right? I mean, things go up, so maybe in a couple of years, we should see if we should raise those costs, right?
Yeah, right now, that seems to be a sufficient amount, because we didn't have an amount. In fact, ours was very, very vague, we were just sort of doing it, we created a permit and hoped that they would do it, so that's why we decided to look at other legislation.
Okay.
Good. Okay, so do I have a motion to close the public hearing? Trustee Cassell, second. Trustee Mazzillo, all in favor? Unanimous?
You can just take a motion to adopt the local law as submitted.
Yeah, we'll take a motion then to adopt the local law. Trustee Cassell, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Unanimous? Do we need to read the law? Or can
No.
we- Okay. So we'll go now to courtesy of the floor. Would anybody like Bob?
Seemed like a light reading, so I'll give you some names.
Why don't you say your name and address, Bob?
Robert Dowski, Ogden Avenue. Last February, parts of our village and other surrounding municipalities were without power for more than a week. During the afternoon storm of May 15th, 5 people were killed in the northeast, all by falling trees. The Hastings village manager was quoted in the Enterprise that most of the trees that fell in power lines were rotted and should have been taken down. I worked for Con Edison for 39 years, retiring as a construction rep. But during storms, I was a site assessor. Many times I was the first company rep on the damage site to identify what was down, so the required type of crew and materials were sent to make repairs. Each job I was assigned required me to speak with the person that called in the damage if possible. Some people were nice. Some people weren't very nice. My only response was to assure the customer we were working on the problem, I was sorry for their inconvenience, and power would be restored as soon as possible. Since I'm retired, I can say this now. What I wanted to ask was, why was it my fault that the dead or rotted tree on your property fell down, took down all the power lines, cut off power to you and all your neighbors? I have a place in Florida. In September, we had a major hurricane and took down a lot of large trees in my area. We never lost electric service. They don't allow overhanging trees over the power lines. It might be a good idea for the village in their newsletter to remind residents that rotted or dead trees or heavy overhanging limbs can and may be the reason during the next storm they have no electric service. Just like the crazy coyote problem in Hastings last February where I was somewhat involved in, that's going to happen again. And it's only a matter of time when it's very badly ends. Also, another storm will happen again. Any comments on what I just said?
Well, I can tell you that there have been meetings with Con Edison to review what took place, and there was obviously 4 storms, one right after the other, going back late winter and early spring. And there were hearings held at the state level on the reaction to the storms. And I understand, some trees that may have died came down, but there also, it was a very wet period of time. The ground was very wet, and that was one of the reasons I think that it made the storm actually worse. A lot of some of our historically old trees came down, not only on village property, but on residence property. So it was basically the perfect storms that came through at that time, and it was a difficult time. I mean, a lot of people were out for a long time, but there have been major meetings in the county and the state to address this issue going forward. So hopefully that'll improve the situation in the future.
Just give you a little insight. I have a neighbor that's trees are very much overgrown over the house and everything. Every time the wind blows and we get a bad storm, he takes his car out, moves it away from the house, and brings it to the next street. Keeps his family in the house. You figure. Car is more important than the family?
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Anyone else like to make a comment? No? Okay. First matter is Rivertown cruises for discussion on the program. Dana,
Yes,
you want to take the
sure.
microphone?
Sure.
State your name and address.
Okay. I'm Zena Reed, Green Career Health from Dobbs Ferry, representing Rivertown Cruises. My husband's wing was actually going to come, but he had a salvage that he had to go and deal with, so it's just me. So I saw the revision that you guys sent, and unfortunately, I don't think that it's gonna work for us. Because the limitations that are put on what we can do with boats. We wanted to be able to have a boat here and keep it at the dock for convenience and to make it more available and also to make it more cost effective. If we are not able to keep one of the boats there overnight, that means we have to pay for dockage at other marinas, which would mean we're paying for dockage at other marinas, we're doing the work for the village for free, we're giving you a percent of the profit, and we're doing the fundraising fees. So it's just not effective, it's just not cost effective. But we would like to propose keeping you on the insurance, and if we do book a cruise for either the Blue Water or the Spirit, that we could work something out where people would pay the village to park, and we would pay a fee to the village to pull up, just as we're doing for the, we're granted permission to have a friend use our boat to do that. Something similar to that, so that Dobbs Ferry can take some advantage of the pier and the local businesses.
You know, I just have to ask, like, why, I feel like every time you come to us with a proposal, it's different than what we heard last time or from last year into this year. And I'm just
Okay.
curious as to why
Sure.
you guys came, let me just finish my thought. You guys came in last year, I think proposing a pilot program of some sort or something. I don't remember exactly, but I don't know why you guys didn't come back to us in like earlier this year in like January, February. We could have worked out the kinks. Come to us with exactly what you wanted, the 2 boats from the get-go, an overnight stay for one of the boats, all these things, so that I feel like we keep reviewing things like kind of in a vacuum, and then you kind of change the tune, and then I don't know where that leaves us. Maybe this is fine, but why don't we get the full presentation of what you want from day one?
Well, I think what happened is when my husband first purchased the Blue Water.
Which one's that? I'm sorry.
That's the one that was.
Is that the big one or the small one?
The smaller one.
Okay.
His vision was to bring it to Dobbs Ferry, to do private charters, public charters. We had it here 4th of July. Everyone was very excited about it. He kind of made an off-the-cuff deal with the mayor that he could keep it there and don't charge for the dockage. So he was like, this is great. And then a few days later, we were told, get the boat out of here. It can't be here. So that kind of put us in a position where we had one idea of what it was going to be, and then it got changed. So then we had to change marinas, and we changed the whole vision of what it was. And, I wasn't as involved as he was, because this is his thing, and unfortunately, he's not here because he had an emergency. But I don't feel like he didn't think we were given the opportunity to even do a presentation to make a proposal.
That was you're talking about last year.
I'm talking about last
Yeah,
year.
I just mean this year.
Well,
Yeah.
the season went by.
Right.
And we did other charters out of different marinas. And in the spring, the Spirit came along, and he had this great idea about, I'm gonna do this. let me get this boat, and we can add it. And it wasn't something like, it was something planned that we snuck it in. Like, he literally went in like May or April or whenever he went, and he purchased it and had it driven back by water and had work done to it in Florida. And then when we finally did get an opportunity to come in front of you, we just wanted to put it all out there. And that's what we did the last time.
Yeah, but when you were here last time, you didn't talk about overnight dockage. Like, that wasn't part of our conversation.
Well, the conversation that we had separately was that it was going to be there at all times.
No, actually, Dina, I have to, that was not stated. It was stated initially in the first one last year, but we asked you specifically. Well, I didn't know that we would differentiate. Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Because from our perspective, to have, like now, one boat's in New Rochelle and one's in Peekskill. So the one in New Rochelle takes 3 hours to come to Dobbs Ferry, and the one from Peekskill takes an hour and a half. And it's dry, it's too much.
Yeah, the economics are difficult in that situation.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, this wasn't the most organized
Right.
business plan, but definitely we're trying to do the right thing, and I think sometimes Dwayne thinks big and wants to get a lot of things done and doesn't think about the little pieces, which obviously have to come together.
Right.
So at this point, we can't, it just doesn't make sense to have, to only be able to use the dock to pull up and drop off and not keep it there overnight. And it's not even a marina. So,
Right.
you understand?
Yeah.
I mean, our friends are very grateful that you're allowing us to do it Friday and pay the fee and whatever.
So that's
we're doing.
still going.
We hired a security
Big
guard,
different
and,
task.
yeah. So, I mean, that's, and they got all the food catered from Battaglia's, and he's getting all the ice from Mobile, and he's getting all the liquor from Rochambeau, so it's all, that's part of why we wanted to do this, is to build up everything in Dobbs Ferry. So that's it, but, I mean, should we keep you on the insurance? Would you be open to, if I say, we have a charter August 11th for the Spirit, will, use the same security guard that the police chief said was fine. We'll have non-residents get parking permits, and we will install a security camera when the code is there, and we will pay a fee, I guess they call it a port fee, that's what the other Marines call it. When you pull up, you load on, you go and you drop off.
What's the concern with the overnight?
It wasn't asked, it was not a concern. I don't have a concern with the smaller boat, but I asked and they said they weren't going to keep it overnight.
So that was the big one.
Yeah, but that was, so, no, I don't have a terrible concern, and it's a pilot program, so we may have a concern because I don't know how the other boats are gonna fit in that come just to do it.
To visit,
you know, to visit.
boats, the yachts and stuff.
Is that the only issue?
Can we do the small
Well,
one?
also that it's only available, I think,
Saturday and Sunday. Oh, okay.
Right, that's-
So that,
That's a big one,
yeah.
because, you know what, we'll find out on Friday what happens when you arrive at 5:30, and you're
Well,
gonna.
we're just arriving at 5:30.
Yep, yes.
Yes, we'll arrive at 7:30.
Right, but your crew's gonna need places to park, you're gonna be unloading trucks and whatever.
Well, the crew actually is coming with the boat from Peekskill.
I thought you said you were getting the food at Battaglia.
They're having it delivered.
To Peekskill?
No,
No, to
the,
Dobbs
once
Ferry.
they pull up to Dobbs Ferry, Battaglia is delivering the food at like 5:45.
Right, that's what I'm saying, Battaglia's, I mean, we don't know this, it might be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing it one thing first, because if they're arriving at 5:15 or 5:45, and they have a truck there as a train pulls in, as
Sure.
all the residents are trying to get out of the
Yeah.
parking lot,
No, I
it's the
understand.
logistics,
Yeah,
yeah. So I think that's why the Friday test program is good, because we'll, again, we need to see what happens before we
Sure.
can agree to anything.
sure.
So what would be the issue with the insurance, just keeping us on the insurance? Is there an issue with that, or is it a?
I
So let me
think-
understand, so you wanna do the one day or still?
Well, yeah.
You want to do Friday night?
The Friday
Which
test.
requires us to
It's
be on
not-
your insurance.
Yes, it's not, we're not doing this as a business. This is a family friend who is throwing his wife a surprise party. And
No, I know,
surprised
let's just keep
anymore.
it, but you're doing it one day or whatever it is.
Yeah, Dean, you can TV say it.
Okay, but-
anything, but it's under, the boat's under our insurance.
And that's the one-day license.
Yeah.
Okay, secondly, you want to potentially do other, events in the future.
If, let's say, which I have had many people ask me from Dobbs Ferry.
Okay, I got it.
About the big boat, like, would you be open to
Yeah.
me saying, we have a party?
So then the question is, would you, I mean, I think we have to have some sort of agreement with that.
Right,
Yeah.
we need to have an
For that.
agreement, and also, we don't want to know about the charter after you've already charted it, because that's what's happened to us twice now.
Well, we did it at different marinas.
No, while you guys were away, that got canceled because of the weather or whatever, but,
Oh, yeah.
and then this one too, you booked this one before you had permission from us to book it. So if you do it in the future, we just,
Yes,
before you
absolutely.
start selling stuff, before we get into a position where, oh my God, we've got a local resident who's spending all this money on a boat, how can we deny it?
I understand.
So we,
But just so that you know,
Yeah.
this one, we didn't have the drop-off location be Dobbs Ferry until we sat with Charlene and it was said that this would have to be done, this would have to be done, this. That information was just updated to the guests very recently.
So going forward on a day-by-day thing,
But my thought is this is not gonna necessarily get, I think we need to talk with staff
We need
and
to
her
talk,
yes.
and Dwayne. It's fine. My thought is you have a license agreement for every event. You have a license agreement, let us know 2 weeks in advance you wanna do something.
Okay?
We have a revised license agreement. No, you know what,
Mayor,
however
can
you
we,
want.
can we sort of discuss it
Yeah,
before we
yeah, I'm just thinking out loud.
commit to anything?
okay,
Yeah.
so they'll take care of that off this.
Yeah.
I just wanna know who's the contact person. If I say, I have a party interested
Yeah.
on August 11th, what,
Dina, I think that is maybe a little too loose, so I would rather look at the agreement and look at the, the Saturday and Sunday and the overnight for the boat. Because that, even though it's limited, all you're doing is paying for the, doing the docks for us. So if you don't have something, you have a place to keep your boat and have that alternate. I would rather an agreement at this juncture, but after talking to the board, maybe they would prefer to have a license, depending on whether you have a cruise or not. It's just, that may be too, like, the 2-week notice to get everything together each
Probably
time
too
and get
short.
it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
get it around to everybody.
Okay.
Maybe a little short time,
Why don't we
but
work
that's
it
not,
out?
that's not
Yeah,
saying it
we'll-
can't be done.
I would like to have Dobbs Ferry be one of the potential pickup locations.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it would be a good thing.
I just want to ask, so if we can go back to the original pilot, what are, now that we're sitting here today, what are you asking for? Like, when you're saying you want your boat here overnight, is it overnight 7 days a week?
Yeah, like,
Okay.
we don't wanna have to pay to have the boat at a marina. That's why we're doing the docks in and out for free and that money that the village is saving, we're not, that's kind of like the dockage.
So you want to keep the
And it's
smaller
even
boat?
more, but we wanna interchange them. So if we have a larger boat, I'm
That's-
sorry, if we have
it's
a
doing
party for
cruise.
100 people,
Right.
we would have that boat there.
Or would you have
7
that boat
days?
staying overnight?
It depends on the weather conditions, it wouldn't be there like full-time, but it's just not realistic to have a party end at 11 o'clock.
Right.
And then, because it eventually would have to go to a marina to be cleaned anyway. So it might be there for a night or two and then go to be
Okay.
cleaned, and then the smaller boat. So we could share another space at a marina with the two boats and work something out that way.
Okay, and what nights of the week would you be requesting?
Well, I mean, for the larger boat would really only be there upon need.
No, in general, you said that Saturday and Sunday didn't work for you, so are you looking for, to have the opportunity to do cruises every
7
night, or
days,
is?
Yeah, I mean, in the
But
I
not
wanna understand
during-
what you're asking so that we understand what, if
Yeah, I
we
mean,
just, what we're
we just want the
deciding.
boat to be there so that if we find that there's a need, that people will go out on a Wednesday night after listening to the jazz for a 2-hour cruise, or while it's going on, just to circle and listen to it, and we'll do something like that.
But during the pilot period, I thought we were going to have 6 and 1. Is that it?
I think what the pilot, we were just estimating what we thought maybe we would do.
That's what I
So
thought.
that you would get a feel of how much money you were making.
Okay.
That's the only reason. we
Right, it could have been 6,
Obviously,
it could have been
It
8.
could have been 100, I mean, or 1.
Right.
We couldn't do, we just kind of figured maybe 6, maybe 1 a weekend. That's why we picked 6. That it wasn't for any other.
Right.
but you're talking about now having the boat docked there 7 days, available for usage for 7 days.
That's what that's their
Conceivably.
request.
That's the
Yes,
request.
so if someone wanted to do a private charter on a Tuesday night, it would be available.
You may do 1 or you may do 7.
Or she may do none.
You may do
It may
none.
take off and we could be booked for the whole summer, or no one would want to do it. I mean, we don't know.
See, it's very open, Dana, and I think that the concern that the board has is how it's going to affect the commuters, how it's going to affect the waterfront. And I remember the first night that you were here, how excited a lot of our residents were. And I, by all means, don't want anybody to think that the board is not supporting this for whatever reason. It's just that you have great intentions, but we have to think on a bigger scale and the impact that it will have. So because there's a lot of non-answers, it leaves us in the air with how it's really going to affect everyone. Like I live down here in the downtown, and I'm always at the waterfront. So I see the motion. You mentioned the jazz on Wednesday. Jazz on Wednesday, the waterfront is jam-packed. So we just really want to have a clear assessment of what you need in order for us to see what the possible impact will be to the waterfront. So I don't want the residents to think that it's that we are not in favor of this. We are very excited just as much as you are, but we also have to look at the big picture of how it's going to impact that area.
Okay. Understood.
I would suggest you go back and take a look at the economics again. I don't know who your person is that you,
I think we still have time.
and we go
Get it
back and
going.
revisit from our end, and then we'll determine. You're gonna go ahead with Friday, right?
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes.
How it affects the,
Yeah.
the commute and,
And you'll see,
and the parking.
I mean, if people are excited about the trip, you know that there's gonna be word, it's gonna get out that,
Yes.
it's a successful idea, so then you can look at the economics maybe a little more positively for not only you, but for the village also.
I'm open to it. I would love to see more.
Okay.
All right? Thanks. What time is
Well,
ship sailing on?
Can you stay there for a minute? Because I think I have questions on the license agreement.
Sure.
You're gonna work it out with Charlene.
The one for Friday night,
Okay.
right? You're talking about
This
the
one
Friday night event,
Friday.
yeah, because the way it's drafted, Darius, I think does it have to be updated? Because it says 80 persons, and now I think it's over 100.
No, actually, I had a revised.
Oh, do I have a revised one?
Yes, we have a revised
Do
one.
I have it?
What is
It
that?
was emailed to us.
Okay, well, I don't have it.
Yeah, and it's around 100, he still hasn't really given me a number because it's a lot of
Yeah.
people with children who say no, and then they come, or they say yes, and then they come, and people are coming, I know, from the train, people are they know now to stop at the police station.
What is the maximum on that? Ship?
That's the big one, that's the 200
It's
one.
the big one. It has-
200?
Yeah, it has an inside and an outside, so it's ideal because if the weather is not good,
Yeah.
this can still happen, and still enjoy it.
Okay,
So,
thank
so-
you.
Do you have more questions?
Yeah, you have some questions.
Well, no, I mean, so I just want to make sure that it's right, because it says, Charlene, that it's up to 100 people, but now it sounds like it could be more. So, I mean, I just think we should change the language to be approximately 100,
Yeah,
just to
Yeah.
make sure
Good
that,
idea.
we're covered under the agreement. And I saw the time was changed from 5:30.
from
Um,
7:30 to
Yes,
5:30.
it was originally
7,
we'll
yeah.
need
But you're
2
still
hours,
only
an
ask-
hour and a half at least to get a DJ, food's being delivered.
That's fine. And you're still only getting 20 parking spots?
I don't know how many parking spots we're getting. He hasn't, told me that. I didn't know that was actually going to be in there. Are we?
It's in there. It
That was
says
in there, it was in
says
the first
20.
and it was in the second.
Yeah, I don't know how many are going to be needed, because I know a lot of people are, I think they're from like Riverdale, so I think a lot of people are taking the train. I know a lot of people live in Dobbs Ferry, and a lot of people will Uber.
Okay.
So can that be taken out, that guarantee of the 20 spots, because I don't know if we're gonna use. And there is.
When, you're not guaranteeing the 20 spots. It's
Well, it
No,
does say
because
that.
I don't know, and also we agreed on a port fee, but that wasn't in there. Was that what the parking spots were?
The port fee should have been in this, $250 for the port fee.
Yeah, it wasn't in there though.
250 for the what?
The port fee. I didn't see it in there either.
Yeah, so we're gonna get, and I just wanted to know who, we have to check to village.
To the village of Dobbs Ferry, yes.
Okay, and I.
Oh, no, it was in mine.
You might, the insurance that shows you.
Yes, I have the insurance. Then, and we'll amend the agreement.
So the only amendment is a 250 port fee, and what about the 20 parking spaces? We changing anything?
I don't think we're guaranteeing any parking, because I don't know how many people will be needing parking.
Just put
And you don't
in,
know how many spaces will be down there either on a Friday.
It's
We
a
have no
summer
idea.
Friday.
Yeah, that's true, shouldn't be too bad.
just that they have to go to the police department to pick
For
up
any
the
parking spaces.
And they know, and the police chief I spoke to, he said that they'll be aware.
Yes.
People will be
Yeah.
stopping there saying, we're going to the party at the waterfront to get a party.
And you guys got the off-duty,
We have a security guard.
Right.
A licensed, we sent the.
Okay, great.
We have all the information.
Telephone
all that
number.
That's great. that's great, I appreciate it.
So are we removing the 20 parking spaces, or we are keeping it to be safe?
I'll add some language to say that, we'll purchase necessary
Yeah,
parking
necessary
spaces
parking
up to 20.
No, you can
No,
just put
but then
necessary,
there's
just
more.
necessary.
Leave it-
Necessary.
I would leave it unlimited.
Leave it big.
They may need more.
Okay.
And then approximately 100.
To put the 250 port fee and,
Yep, and 100's already in there. Okay,
yeah, and approximate.
Approximately 100.
Yeah,
instead of up.
yeah.
That gives you a little more leeway then to.
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dina.
Thanks, Dina.
Okay. So, do we want to consider a motion to authorize Custom Marine to dock at the waterfront on Friday, June 15, 2018? Trustee Cassell, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Unanimous? Good luck.
Have a good party.
7:30 departure?
I think so, I think, yeah, hopefully everybody gets there on time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Great weather for
Okay, I want to consider a motion to appoint Ms. Helene Sorensen as the Youth Services Coalition Coordinator. I met Helene at that was a fantastic
Aquafest.
event, the Aquafest. Fest
Yeah,
on Friday.
yes. They did an amazing job.
It was a great night for the young adults and teens. Everybody had a good time and a lot of fun, and the pizza was good.
Never seen 40 pies fly that fast.
Anyway, so do we have a motion?
Of course.
Trustee Tarazzi, second. Trustee Rosillo, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a resolution awarding the bid for the Embassy Community Center addition and alterations. Did you want to make a few comments, Charlene, about the Facilities Committee and
Sure,
maybe Recreation, I think, met Monday and
yes.
discussed it also?
We did have a meeting with Recreation and the Facilities Committee on Monday to review the bids and for them to know the alternates of the bids. I was approved by the Recreation and Facilities Committee. In fact, it was approved on this Monday as to the additional money requested from the Recreation Fund. But the concept was approved at the board, and now what we have to do is ask you for the approval to award the bids. It's under the Wicks law, unfortunately. And that means that we have to bid each one separately. The HVAC, the plumbing, and the general contracting. So what we have here is we are doing the general contract, and we have, the winning bid was Optimus Construction Development. For the plumbing, it was S&L Plumbing and Heating for $400,000. For the mechanical, Sundance Energy Contracts for $589,000. For the electrical, Neighbor Electrical Corporation, $577,577. You may wonder how much that is altogether, or we can just do the math. It is approximately three. I had this with me just a minute ago. You can do the math faster than I can get the numbers, but if you can give me a second. I believe it was around 3.7, was
It
it?
was 3.8, I think.
382 something, yeah.
Yeah.
That is not including the soft costs. However, the amounts are within the budget, maybe $100,000 more than we expected. Because we expected actually a bigger contingency fund. We have about $150,000 in contingency, so we were well within the amount. So actually, the full bid amount was 3,515, not 3,8.
Great.
So,
Well, I thought at the facilities meeting, I know you worked with, on engineering.
yes,
And the architects,
yes,
and they did, I mean, you all did a good job in going through, the original estimate.
yes.
And narrowing things down,
Mhm.
and what we could save a little money here and there on. So I thought that was well done.
Yeah, that was the
exercise.
3.8, and then we got it down to the 3.5.
So, and then the rec commission agreed to support the project
Yes, yeah.
with additional
Conceptual
funds
project, they're right there with
from the
us.
rec fund.
There may be some things that we do after the building is done, maybe some, additions, like just actually beautifying aspects of it.
Yeah.
But the construction will be within this amount of money.
I mean, the bottom line is, I mean, we have to do this. It's, I think, vital to the community. The building, been up there for 50-plus years. It was due for an upgrade anyway, and I think we need to move forward with it as quickly as possible.
I think there's a number of benefits, Mayor. One of the benefits, obviously, is that it will give a nice, great community center. But another is, it is a method that we can rent out. It is a room that will be beautiful. It looks out onto the water, and we can use it as, birthday parties, et cetera. So I think that would be well worthwhile, and I think it would be a real center for community activities. I think the numbers have been well within the amounts that we had stated. Remember, we have around $505,000 in grants. We have, the Recreation Commission has recommended a large amount of money. And hopefully that there will be donations when people see that.
Yeah, we're also considering a fireplace for the senior center.
Yeah, I think that people will look at it, and anything that's needed, especially for the seniors, that
Right.
they will be provided.
It's actually the design of the windows overlooking the river will be
It is
Very
really
nice.
very, very
everyone
pretty
I think
design.
that uses it. So it'll be a big plus and morale booster
Yeah.
for the village, I think.
Hopefully we can start in August.
They're gonna start and then
Early
hopefully
August.
finish by the beginning of the,
That's what they're saying,
Winter of
the first
19.
quarter.
which would be great.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be finished by the first quarter of
That's true.
2019.
Well, thank you to the Facilities Committee and the Recreation Commission.
Yeah, they worked very, very
The
hard
engineering company
in
that
putting
worked
this
on it,
together.
and the village staff, Charlene and Kendra Garrison, and others that worked to pull that all together. Any other comments or discussion? So, can I have a motion to award the bid for the Embassy Community Center alterations? Nicole?
What about me?
Or did you want to say a few words?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
You want to make the
you
motion?
want to make
I'll
the
make the
motion?
motion.
I second the
Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Durazi, all in favor? Unanimous.
She should make it.
Yes.
Okay, I just got confused because I was taking notes.
Okay. Consider a motion to authorize the village administrator to sign an agreement with Jazz Forum Arts. And this is our annual Jazz Wednesdays, I guess,
Yeah.
at the Waterfront Park.
Yes.
And it's been a success, I know. for many years, it's been held down there, and this is a continuation of that. And anything else, Charlene, that you want?
No.
We published the dates, I think, and
That's, I believe they are, you're on
kicks
the
off next week,
June 20th.
June 20th, fantastic. Okay, so do I have a motion to authorize village administrator? Deputy Mayor Cassell, second. Trustee Drozy, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a request from Mr. Mark Morganelli, Jazz Forum Arts, to hang a banner at the corner of Cedar and Main Streets. Motion. Trustee Cassell, second. Trustee Mazzillo, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to authorize the village administrator to sign the 2018-19 municipal snow and ice agreement extension with the New York State Department of Transportation. Any discussion? This is something we do on an annual.
We do every year. The good thing about it is, and especially in bad weather, we get a little more at the end of the year. So
Yeah,
right now it's around $10,000.
great. Okay, do I have a motion? Deputy Mayor Cassell, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to authorize the police chief to sell a 2006 Ford Expedition as surplus equipment.
The reason being, I mean, the major reason is that it's more costly to fix than to keep. So it's better to just sell it as surplus.
12 years is pretty good,
Not bad.
not bad. Okay, do I have a motion? Trustee Rosillo, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to approve audits number 1 and number 2 for June 2018 as recommended by the village treasurer. Jeff, did you want to comment? Everything looks good?
Looks good.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, well, trustee Taylor's not here, and he's the one who usually looks at this, and he contacted me and said everything is fine, he's totally okay with it.
Thank you. Okay, so do I have a motion? Trustee Rosillo, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to approve a request from Ms. Elizabeth Hobson, the director of the library, to promote library events and have library card sign-ups from June 18th through the 22nd at the train station. We did have a nice event last week at the library for the Friends of the Library, and it was, pleased to say it was a packed house.
The topic was supposed to be seemed to be very interesting.
Yeah, and so that was really encouraging. I think the Friends has been revitalized, and that's great for the village. I personally love the library.
That's good, yeah.
It's a great place to gather, and great because of the programs they have for both children and young adults and adults. So if we have strong Friends, we will continue to have a strong library program. So do I have a motion to approve a request from the director, Elizabeth Hobson, to promote the library events? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Drozy, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a request from Ms. Maggie Segrich to have a block party on Oak Street on Saturday, June 30th, from 11:45 a.m. to 2:15 p.m. That's 11's birthday, right? Boy.
Only if we're invited.
You can crash, you can crash.
I'm walking there.
Do I have a motion? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Drozy, all in favor? Happy birthday.
That was number 11.
That's fun.
Have a great time.
Yeah, enjoy, Maggie, thanks. Consider request from Ms. Chris Ann Byer to have a block party on Ogden Place Saturday.
Yeah, I can't vote on this.
You can't vote?
No, because it's my
You
block.
live there?
I live
Oh,
there.
okay.
It's a great block party.
Oh, what
Another
time does
one.
it start? 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock, 2 to 10, we're there all day.
Guess we could crash that also.
Yeah.
On Ogden Place on Saturday, June 16th, from 2 PM to 10 PM. Do I have a motion? Trustee Rosillo, second trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Unanimous. Minutes, May 22nd, 2018. You want to,
Okay.
anybody have any comments on the minutes?
Mayor, may I found my piece of paper, and I'd just like to go through the numbers
Okay.
for the Embassy Center. I think it's important for the public to know. The hard cost estimate was for the, for the bids, is 3.398546. Soft cost, 500,000. The total estimated cost is 3.898546. The funds that we have is 2.8 in the bond, 555 in grants, a donation from IPIC of 3,839, the Consolidated Recreation Fund, we got 2 approvals, 267,000, that was for the soft cost, and 400,000. So the total estimated proceeds are 4,25839, and the contingency is 127,293. So those numbers are looking good now.
Yeah.
Cross your
Very good.
fingers.
And that's not the only thing the villages, the facilities committee is working on. I know the Recreation Department is looking at bids coming up on the pool, right?
Yes, we have a
Upgrade.
design, and that design was approved by the Recreation Committee on Monday night. There may be like amendments to it, and we're looking to see whether we can do that. The 99 Cedar Street, they're paving it, so we're getting really close. The firehouse should start the firehouse floor is starting in 3 weeks. Really because we have to move things out for the recreation, for recreation and senior program. We have to move it out of the basement. And then we're going to start on the stairs.
Great. I think you're gonna see, and hopefully we can have that open for the next pool season. And
Yes,
you'll see,
that's what
I think
it's
you're gonna
intended.
see, I've already seen evidence of people coming back to Don's for both the camp and the pool, which is extremely encouraging. And I think the upgrade, I don't think we could have opened it next year without the upgrade.
You couldn't, the Department of Health wouldn't let you.
Would have stopped it. So it's sorely needed, and I think it's, from what I've seen of the initial plans, it looks very impressive.
Yeah.
So that's great. Okay. Anybody have a comment on the minutes?
No, I think that, I know myself, I arrived probably 5 minutes late. At 6:35, so I did attend the executive session. I think Larry and Vinny did too.
Yes.
I think we're just all a few minutes late, but you probably didn't pop in to tell Liz.
No, actually, I don't think I made the,
Did you not? I was there.
I wasn't there.
I'm not speaking for the other two, Liz, but I got there at 6:35.
No, you came
I
in
thought you were
late.
there.
You came in late, then.
Yeah, I came in late.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Okay. So we'll make that change. So can we'll approve that with that change? Okay, motion to approve. Deputy Mayor Cassell, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Unanimous. Any correspondence or claims, Liz?
Mayor, I did receive, one email. Previously, the board had approved for the National Alliance on Mental Illness of Westchester to place ribbons on Main and Cedar Street for their annual campaign, and I received an email dated June 6th. Dear Elizabeth Draper, the National Alliance on Mental Illness Westchester appreciates your generous cooperation in letting us place our ribbons in our 5th ribbon campaign. Your support will help us bring the topic of mental health in our communities to the forefront and to facilitate open and honest dialogue about the subject. We are so pleased that the Village of Dobbs Ferry could be part of this special event. Once again, on behalf of NAMI Westchester, thank you for your help. Warm regards. So I just want to pass that along. It was a very nice note to receive, so.
Great. Thank you, Liz. Any reports or announcements, Trustee Sorensen?
I just want to really welcome Helene to the group of the Youth Council. She's a lovely young lady, and I know she's going to do a fantastic job. I also want to thank Barry, Helene, Justin, Kendra, of course, the Recreation Department, the DPW, every other member of the Youth Council. I really think that the first Aquafest was fantastic. The pool was open, complimentary, and we were there
Great
until
DJ.
almost another great DJ.
Terrific DJ.
Fantastic games. They have a lot of different projects in the makings. There's a lot more coming, so I really would like parents to encourage the children to get involved. There is opportunities of volunteering for those that need the time, the community work. But they work very hard and they dedicate their time, so I very much appreciate their effort, and I think that the more that they do, the more people will get involved. But this was a great event, and there's a lot more to come, so stay tuned.
Terrific. Thank you, Trustee
Yeah, I just want to make a pitch for the Conservation Advisory Board. We need new members. We're losing a couple of members, so we could use new blood on that committee, on that board, actually. It's, just so you know, at the moment, we're working on revitalizing the High Street Park, and we will be working on updating the open space inventory, which is very important for future development purposes, et cetera. So if you're interested in conservation and preserving open spaces, et cetera, please contact, I guess, go online to the village website. There is, applications are there, and I believe you send them to Liz, correct, Liz?
Yes.
And they fill them out, and I also told Christie on the nominating committee that
Great.
we need people.
We do. We need other, we have other openings, right, Liz, on other committees and boards, so anybody that is looking to, make some new friends and do some good for the village and their community, please contact Liz through the website, and we can get you on board and start doing some good things together. Trustee Sullivan, would you like to?
I do. So the seniors were scheduled to have their barbecue tomorrow from 11 to 1, but due to the impending weather, they've rescheduled it for Thursday from 11 to 1. And I'm sure it'll be a great barbecue.
It's right here in Village Hall, outside.
At the waterfront.
At the
Oh,
waterfront.
it's at the waterfront?
Waterfront, yes.
With our new grills, right?
I unfortunately can't attend, so if any other trustee would like to attend, I'm sure they would appreciate it,
Okay.
or mayor.
That sounds
It's
great.
usually very nice. I
Yeah.
unfortunately have a conflict at work.
And although we do have another meeting before the fireworks, we do have the fireworks coming up, so
Yeah.
if you missed the next meeting, that's always a spectacular event down there at the waterfront. Trustee Rizzo?
I don't know if you're going to talk about the Memorial Day Parade, so.
Yeah, why don't you,
We all attended the memorial, all of us attended that parade. It was really well attended. We had a band, not really a band, but we had music.
We had music.
we had the music band.
Right.
We had a
So-
band at the high school. They had the.
Yeah.
That's
the high
right,
school
we
students.
did.
Yeah.
That's right. So we thank you for the middle school, the high school students for there. I think we had a great attendance, great speeches. It was a great turnout. The weather turned out great. So just want to thank everyone the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, who took time out to attend. So I think it was a great event. It really shows the spirit of Dobbs Ferry.
Yeah, it was a great event, and I was really impressed with the turnout there, too. It was a tremendous amount of people, not only that marched with us, but also along the parade route.
Yeah.
So that was encouraging, and at the school. So we're looking forward to honoring those that were lost, moving forward in the future, Memorial Days. I also, you mentioned the Boy Scouts. We had a scout that received his eagle,
Oh.
and he had a ceremony Saturday, and I was honored to be asked to go and say a few words. It's a nice event that Our Lady of Pompeii, his name was Isaiah Rary, and one of 8. And I think he has a couple of more just right behind him. So we'll be doing this for the next couple of years. But it's a wonderful tradition. It's not easy to do.
No.
And it's one person this year. And what a nice young man, a great example for the community, and a really wonderful family. So it was a lot of fun, and the food was good. Cake
Yeah.
was absolutely delicious. I also want to mention we lost a few of our townspeople here. Jeanette Adaricio passed away, and John Henshaw, and Vincent Petroselli. Vincent was
Oh, he's a great
one
guy.
of the original members, created the ambulance corps. So we'll dedicate this meeting to those 3 folks, and we'll keep the families and friends in our thoughts and prayers. And I think that's it. I'll adjourn. Thank you.